Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're in the basement. We are starting a basement finishing series. So what we're going to do with the series is basically start from the ground up. And today we're going to be focusing on subfloor. So guys, why is subfloor? Is it necessary? No, but concrete naturally has moisture in it. And not all basements are designed to be finished. This one's probably 3 years old, and they do say that it takes 2 to 3 years for the moisture to come out of the concrete naturally, but there's always the chance of moisture to be present. So taking a look at this basement, we've got rough-in plumbing for a bathroom. We've got a vapor barrier underneath the slab, which is designed to keep the groundwater from coming up through the concrete. So it's got newer features that are a little more friendly for finishing the basement. It's not like your older 70s or 80s basement where it don't have the technology. The house on the outside has a membrane on the foundation, so it is somewhat water resistant. So the reason why we chose to go with the subfloor is just to mitigate any instances where there may be damp areas of concrete and ruining our carpet, ruining our flooring. We don't want to do that. So we chose to go this route. So besides the moisture, guys, one of the main reasons why we're deciding to do this is for the thermal break that these subfloor panels provide. So take a look on the back side of this particular Dricore panel. You got these little stubs. This is going to leave an air gap, and this is going to allow air to flow underneath. Any dampness or moisture underneath this subfloor panel is going to stay underneath it. Basically, the air gap is going to give you a warmer top surface than it would be on bare concrete. So that's the main reason. The thermal break is going to just provide a warmer floor. We're also doing this basement for 30, 40 years. We're not trying to do it for 10 years and have to redo some of the materials because they're soaking up a mildew and potential mold problems. We're trying to do this for the long term, and I feel myself that this is the product that's going to help us get there. So the last thing I'll touch on, guys, is we're going to be framing on top of the subfloor material. That's going to keep our bottom plates off of the concrete surface. It's going to keep the moisture below the wall framing. And we have our barrier. If the basement happens to flood or get enough water to bury the bottom of the wall, well, we've got bigger problems. So the nice thing is our framing is going to be off the concrete. It's going to be high and dry. I just want to mention that's definitely a benefit of going this route. So real quick, just a couple options out there that are on the market. Dricore is one of the products that are out there. It comes with a couple versions. You got regular Dricore, which is the OSB top layer, tongue and groove with the plastic poly base on it. Then you got the R value Dricore, where you have the OSB top layer, tongue and groove, and you have insulation. Still got the grooves on the back, still has the air gap tech that comes with it. Get a little bit more warmth with this product. The one that we're really interested in is this Drybarrier product, which is very similar. It has a dimpled base, still has the air gap on the bottom, but it doesn't have the organic OSB layer. This product is gonna do the same thing, keep the moisture underneath the flooring where it belongs. It's gonna allow the air to move through, and it's also gonna allow things to dry up if we do have any water events to deal with. So there's a fourth one too. There's a dimpled membrane called DMX that's on the market. You can roll out DMX across your slab, and you can put OSB tongue and groove on top, sheets, Tapcon screws to hold that down. So essentially you're creating this scenario where you have like a DMX plastic product and an OSB on the top. We took a look at that. It's a good system. It was a good system when OSB was $13 a sheet. Now that OSB is $50 to $60 a sheet in today's market, it's just not economical. So let's talk quick about the Dricore product. Great subfloor. They range in height from 3/4 of an inch thick to 1 inch thick. So that was a consideration because not every basement has 9-foot ceiling height or 10-foot ceiling height. When you're trying to conserve ceiling height and you don't want your bulkheads to feel too low, taking a look at the difference, the Drybarrier product is 3/8 of an inch thick. So there's, you know, by the time you do your finished flooring, whether it's carpet or laminate or vinyl plank or tile, all these things come into play, especially around your staircase. When you're dealing with a 1-inch thick subfloor material, don't forget you're shortening that first rise of your basement stair. So these are all considerations. Again, nothing wrong with a Dricore. To me, I didn't want to give up the ceiling height. We don't have a super high ceiling down here, and this Drybarrier product, it seemed to fit the bill a little bit better. So let's go over this Drybarrier. As I said before, it's got the air gap, but what intrigues me about this is look at this. Very flexible. So we've got a fairly new slab that's nicely finished here, but if you have a basement with any variations in the floor, they say up to a 1/4 inch, to me this is the product that's gonna take that shape a little bit better than these typical OSB panels. They're a lot more rigid, and they're not gonna have the give in them. So a couple differences here, guys. This Dricore panel, I'd be using a table saw to cut this, or a skill saw. Lots of dust, lots of debris. You're cutting through OSB. This Drybarrier, they say you can cut it with a utility knife or a pair of shears, a pair of snips. So very intriguing. The ease of cutting, the less airborne dust when you're trying to finish your basement. To me, I'm not cleaning all the time. It's a fast, quick install. It still has the tongue and groove system. It has these snaps, and it has these grooves that receive the snaps. So to me, very similar in the way it locks and hooks together. Again, a little bit thinner, and to me, a lot simpler to work with. So in this comparison, let's talk about 2 inches of water in a basement. If the Dricore product is getting moisture on this OSB, it's basically garbage. You're not going to be reusing that. OSB is somewhat water resistant, but it is going to swell, and you're going to end up tossing that out. This Drybarrier product, from what I've seen so far, it gets wet, you dry it off, you clean it off, you reuse it. So to me, thinking about insurance cost and just basically what's trapped underneath your flooring, mold, mildew, this to me is a better choice. Now, all these panels are fairly portable. I mean, this is a 2x2 panel. It's fairly light. I imagine if you had a stack of 50 of these, it'd be a fairly big stack. What they do with the Drybarrier, it comes in these boxes and these kits of 8. Really not much to it. What I like about it is throw it in the back of your car. You can probably throw in enough to do your basement in a couple trips to the store, and it's nicely packaged for you. It doesn't weigh a lot. Anybody can move this product around. So the simple way to figure out how much of this do you need for your basement, take your square footage of your space, of your room, of your entire basement area that you're going to finish, and divide that square footage by 3.3. In the case of the Drybarrier, that's going to give you the quantity of tiles that you need to finish your project. It allows for a little bit of waste in your cutting with that calculation, and that's what we did and how we figured out. We got roughly 900 to 950 square feet down here that we're going to finish. So that's the calculation we used. We divided that by 3.3, and we came up with our number that we had to purchase for the product. So as always, let's go over what we're going to need to do this project. We have our H1 OLFA, a nice heavy duty cutter. They say we can use this to cut. We're going to find out. We've also got as a backup some aviation snips. These are 90-degree snips, which I think are going to work decently. I'll put links to products in the description as normal. And for the Drybarrier material, we have some blue tuck tape that's going to be used to seal the seams. That's one step that is additional on Drybarrier versus the Dricore. You don't need to seal your seams with this tongue and groove system, but in order to have 100% vapor barrier on the Drybarrier product, you've got to run your tuck tape. Pretty straightforward. I didn't mind that. Let's go through the steps, guys. Step 1, we want to vacuum the surface. We want to vacuum the concrete, clean up any dust, any debris. We don't want to trap anything under the subfloor. So let's start with that. All right, we got our first box here. We're going to open that up. We are going to start along our straight back wall. That's the first area we're gonna lay tiles out on. So that means that we're gonna be laying this groove edge against the wall. A few tiles laid out here. I'm gonna show you how these go together. So I just want to show you how these are supposed to go together. Drycore's tongue and groove, like I said before, these things have these little stubs on them and they go into these receiver grooves. So they say it's pretty straightforward. Let's take our panels and line them up and they just click together. So now we have the start of our row. So again, we're starting on an outside wall. And we're going to be putting this grooved edge against the wall, not the stud end, but the groove edge against the wall. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start by getting our first section in here. Now I happen to have these little plastic spacers, so we're going to put them in between the tile and the plate. That's going to give us our gap that we need. Okay, we're just going to continue all the way along. All right, these panels are designed to go in line with each other, or you can stagger them like a bricklaying pattern. And there are provisions in each of these. Put a Tapcon screw in a corner here and there to hold them in place. Once our walls are on top, these aren't going anywhere. But for now, I'm going to do this in this offset bricklay pattern. I think it's going to give it a little more stability. So there, I snapped one in, and I'm halfway in between tiles. And now I'm going to attempt to slide this in. It's kind of nice because with these grooves, you can slide the panel around a bit, so you can lock one side in and then pull it and click the other side in. That actually works pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and see how easy this stuff cuts. I got a bit of a straight edge here. We're not going to get too fancy with this, but I've got the tile basically in place, so I'm going to just score the board where that mark is. I'm going to line up where the tile would be locked in place, and I'm going to score this dimension here. That basically gives me my area that I call out. Now they say the beauty of this is you can score it with a utility knife and basically snap the tile off. Let's give that a try. I'll take my snips. Right, see, this cuts real easy. There's my cut mark. Now we're just going to see if it breaks. Oh yeah, see? There's my cut. And basically this tile is ready to go in. Perfect. Good fit, easy to work with. Like they say, no mess, no dust. Not much to clean up. Hey guys, we got our subfloor all laid out for this one area that we're working on. Real straightforward to put together. Everything snaps together real clean. So now we're gonna do the final step, and that is to put vapor barrier tape along each joint. So since these joints don't all run in rows, I've got a little more taping to do, but overall I like that it feels like it's more put together, it's solid. So we got our blue tuck tape, and as I understand it, this tuck tape has a little more adhesive, and it is designed and approved for vapor barrier. It's also recommended for this installation because we are trying to seal up and create that thermal break. So we're simply going to take our tape, line it up on the center of our joint, and I'm going to basically roll this out about one panel at a time, and then make sure I'm pressing it down as we go. So we got to do each panel individually with the cross taping just because of the stagger, but no big deal. We'll make it nice and clean, just like that. Alright guys, there you have it. We're going to end the video here. I'm going to go ahead and finish taping off all the joints I have left and continue laying the subfloor. Hopefully that gives you some good tips on putting down this Drybarrier subfloor. I mean, all I can say is lightweight, flexible, easy to install, simple to cut, not a lot of dust and debris, full thermal break on your floor, full vapor barrier with a tape. Pretty good product. So we'll give you a further update when we start putting flooring on top of this and we take it to and framing on top as well. Again, thanks for watching. Appreciate you tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more DIY content and more videos with this basement finishing series, and we'll catch you in the next one.